Well, hello there. It is still morning. Good morning, I guess. 10:32, which is very late for me. Barely morning. But let's see. I just got off finished up the prednisone that I was on for anti-inflammatory effects, roids. Funny thing is, I did feel it's not a rage, but you do get an amp from the roids, or you can, and I certainly did. It was like a kind of a not unpleasant, but edgy coffee high. So that was all right. It was actually all right. It was I tried to use it for productivity. So now I'm looking around. I do need to get back on the bike. Trying to do that every day. Usually during like a training period, I'd have rest days, but I'm not riding with that intensity. And my whole thing is to shock my system right now to try to ride the anti-inflammatory wave of the steroid and see if I can't keep the inflammation tamped down, the autoimmune effects tamped down. I will say the prednisone super helped, but it is not gone. My various symptoms and problems, but we'll continue on. But as you know, I will mention my health, I guess, because it's a central thing. Unfortunately, when we're younger, and the old people say health is everything, and uh, damn it, they were right. Oh, I hate that. Uh, I don't know. When I was probably about 30, I think I wanted to like call every adult I ever knew and just apologize for all of it. It's, uh, but here I am today. So I haven't got on the bike yet, but I will in a little bit. A little bit of I guess, chaotic time. Hence the picture there. That is Chaos Chaos, band now in New York. They originated in Seattle as Smoosh, a sister act. I remember when they came about. I used to live in Seattle around that time in the 2000s, and so I think they were originally named Smoosh because they were like 12 when they started, but they were fans of Smash Mouth, so they kind of used the Smashy thing, but they had changed their name. They said because of Snooki from Jersey Shore, Smoosh they would use in terms of having sex, banging, pumping, what have you. Their term was smoosh. So they found that distasteful. So they no longer use that, and they're now Chaos Chaos. Interesting band. Check them out. Their early stuff, it's 12-year-old girls rocking out drum and keys. So kind of synth pop. Uh, yeah. So, but I chose it mainly, I think, for the name right now because I am dealing with Chaos Chaos. It's about a week, it's that second week of January, a little after a week from New Year's Eve. And this is when I think whether the resolutions are official and you've declared them and you're going all in and putting your foot down and all these things, or if they're just more casual. It's like, this year I want to do more of this, less of that, be this kind of person, have this kind of life. This is, I think, when the chaos comes back in, the old patterns come back in, and the resolutions drop right around this time. So I think it's what was it in June '84? The beginning is a delicate time. So I need to clean up my space. It is a mess. It is chaos, chaos. A while ago, I had somebody that had to deliver something, and I was apologizing for the chaos. And he brought up an interesting philosophy. He's like, "Dude, it's a map of your year. That just how things got laid out." So I am walking around about to clean and babble a little bit about what I have no idea. Uh, just wanted to check in, especially I think my thing with the avatar. Oh, I should discuss that. I didn't mean to be too unkind for people, who VTube or PNG tube or whatever. And I'm, just kind of actually, and the whole, again, I don't particularly like the term the weeb culture. And I understand that, people are uncomfortable, maybe with, putting their image online or I remember when I was young, I did not like my picture taken. Still not the biggest fan. And again, listening to my own voice, and I sound like Bullwinkle. So I understand the reasons. As far as the use of always the anime girl, I don't know. I hope I wasn't too unkind about that. But those are my thoughts of the dangers of going too far with it, or maybe not having enough of diversity. Both, I mean, in terms of culture in general, where everybody becomes an anime girl, or individually. It kind of reminds me of Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash. I don't know if you ever read that. It's actually where Metaverse came from. Well worth the read. It's satirical. It's really good. But in there, he coined the term metaverse, and Meta, Facebook basically just took it, which I don't think was cool. But in there, people have avatars as they're walking around in the virtual world, the metaverse, and there are these kind of off-the-shelf characters, Clint and Barbie, and they're cheap, and I guess they talk about how just broke teenagers or new users will go buy an off-the-shelf Clint and Barbie, and I guess they're supposed to be sort of exactly like they sound, I suppose, kind of the Ken and Barbie. I guess you'd call them, I guess now Chad. People, the Chad chin and the cheerleader Barbie look and that kind of thing. And, so I guess, I kind of wonder if the anime Neko girl is a little bit of that Barbie, sort of this sort of smoothed off, very common representation. I don't know. I don't need to get into that again. But today I did play with the next little thing for, I think it probably took me 20 minutes to figure out this stuff. Maybe it wasn't too bad, but I don't have instructions to the PNG software I'm using beyond a very small tutorial. So, but I did use ChatGPT again, just because I'm kind of interested to see what it does. So I just gave it rainbow-haired anime girl cat ears again to see what it would come up with this time. And but I did tell it to use a transparent background this time, so that I could put it on as we, I guess, almost traditionally see now, the avatars, the PNG avatars, in the corner. Excuse me. So I had to learn that. It was mainly finding, just where's the, certain images of background. At first, I thought OBS integration could do it, so I put the background image, and then tried to superimpose the PNG tuber model on top. But that didn't work out quite right. First, it just got covered up, but then I found that I could do the background image in the PNG tuber software itself. So, I should sit down and learn. If anybody has any recommendations for OBS tutorials or manuals or anything of that nature, again, a dear friend of mine did give me DaVinci Resolve, but I have not looked at that at all yet, which is one of the reasons I think I've got to clean up this room. Clean up my space. It's not conducive to progress, but so it's an evolution of this little thing. But this again is kind of just an exercise to learn the systems. I don't think I'll be using a PNG tuber. If I do, I'll probably draw something just stupid and use that. But it's just to play around with. But again, I'm not anti-weeb, and I know they get their things. Hey, I'm a 1E D&D player, so boy, back in the Holmes days, the Holmes Blue Book days, and on to AD&D. So it's funny to see Stranger Things with that and the research. Well, there's been a resurgence beyond that. I mean, we've had a popular resurgence in D&D for a long, long time, I suppose. Now, in tabletop. Today actually is Thursday, and I do play tabletop. I play tabletop games with a couple of friends. We make dinner and play. I won't be having dinner today. I'm on green juice, fresh I just make it with carrots and apples and ginger and kale and stuff. And that's again mainly to see if I can't get my health back. I've done it before and to really great results. I don't really feel that deprived or anything, but it's just something. It's one of those habits that it's good for you. You enjoy it. Why does it fall off? I'm trying to make it a little easier. Maybe some of the extra stuff, the leavings, all the stuff besides the juice is a hassle. See if I got chickens, friends with chickens. Maybe chickens like it. We'll see. They like sprouts. But yeah, my diet has been not good for quite a while. I mean, it's not been terrible, but it's been a lot closer to the standard American sad diet than it probably should be. But we try to eat out of the garden and out of the ocean and whatnot. So that was back towards D&D, and the resurgence of that kind of stuff. And it was and just how it got. It became kind of a popular, at least got reintroduced, and I think there's a little bit of, they threw that in a little bit of the satanic panic and that kind of stuff. Stranger Things, I will admit, I guess I have to jump on the bandwagon as I didn't care for the last season too much. To be honest, I thought the season 4 was the last season, and we watched it, and I was just sort of kind of waiting for it to end. I enjoyed the program, but I think it wore out the theme, and I think that they wore out the theme and didn't really have a place to go too much with the 5th season. There's what was it, Real Life Fake Wizard? I think he had 99 holes or plot points. I did watch that, and I can see that. It has nothing to do with any of the the identities of the characters, that came about a little bit. I don't care about that. I mean, I thought that was actually could be a valid declaration on the line, especially given that era. I was in that era. But it was more, the last episode was half a denouement. For an hour, we have a denouement that just goes on and on. And it was a little bit of I think the classic, show me, don't tell me. Well, and they more or less told, it's like they have just these narratives that aren't built into the plot at all. They're just, the plot is over, the conflict is over, and just seeing the characters for like an hour, where they end up, and I thought it was just a slog to get through. It's just a labor to get through. But overall, though, I mean, the show was the show, and I enjoyed it up until that season. And I'm not like, you ruined it for me or anything. It's a television program for me. I wasn't as impressed as I could have been with that last season. So, meh, it is what it is. But D&D's back, it looks like. I won't be playing a role-playing game. I did, though, just get Call of Cthulhu, which if you follow Seth Skorkowski, I can't pronounce his name. He does a YouTube channel that's very good on role-playing games and a bunch of different issues around them. I mean, play issues, not anything political or anything like that, but just playing that hobby for a number of years. And he seemed to be impressed with Call of Cthulhu. I mean, I admit I'm a little burned out on Swords and Sorcery. I haven't played in a number of years on D&D. I did get the Blue Home book, which is actually sort of like the old Blue Book D&D, but written by the Holmes' son, actually, who put it together. But we will. Maybe a little more role-playing gaming is in my future. Excuse me. We'll see if I can find if my group of people I have now will play, or if I can find a different group to play. We play mainly board games on Thursday nights. We're going through Pandemic Legacy Season 1, which I've done a couple of times already, but we have a newer player to Legacy games. And I can play, are there plot points and stuff. You're only supposed to play it once and run through that. Yes, but being, kind of guess circling back to D&D, I used to be a DM, so I can play and enjoy the game as an NPC. And even though I know some of the twists, I just play like I don't know it, and the complexion of the game still changes, with all the twists of fortune and what strategies you've committed to and these kinds of things. So I make sure to always defer on a decision, and I don't really telegraph it, but I defer to their decision on any critical thing that would be affected by the overall plot and the spoilers, so that they make a decision about what we're going to do, and we do it that way, and then that way it stays fresh, because the decision was made without really the intervention of my knowledge, to the best of my ability. It's an interesting game. If you haven't played it, it was on the top of BGG, Board Game Geek, which is sort of the IMDb of board games, for like 2 years or something. I originally played it. I think we originally played it during the pandemic, which was during the lockdown, which was interesting timing. But Pandemic, the original board game, is it's kind of a modern classic. I think it's one of the, I'm going to say, the monopoly of the co-op game. I think it's kind of that central classic co-op now, that if you want to show somebody an example of a co-op, it's a really good one to do. I'm babbling about board games now. Maybe I'll make a separate video on that. Yeah, I'll do that. So my apologies for digressing into oblivion there. Yeah, cleaning the space. It's chaotic and I can't find anything. And she's tidied up and I can't find anything. Or maybe even worse, I can. And I have a mental map of where everything is in this chaos, which isn't good overhead, and it's hard to find, but I can reach in and think I know where it is. But if something moves it, if somebody moves it, or if somehow it gets moved with something else, I've lost that mental map, because there's no organization besides a memory map of everything. And I don't want to live that way. And it's not comfortable, and I'm stepping over things that are on the floor. The floor is not storage, and it's tough to make sure every horizontal space doesn't just become storage. You ever have that thing when your space gets really crowded and cluttered, and it starts feeling small, and you can't get anything done in it, and it just becomes oppressive? And that's where I'm at with it. And I don't want to live that way. So I'm going to try to make a move, and I am going to try to simplify. I'm kind of really in a mode these days, I think, especially with my energy being lower with the health and things, to simplify, streamline things. And I am sort of a proponent to that. There's in racing, that's to go fast first you must go slow, or slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You've heard that in a number of stuff to execute. I think we can go through periods where we start complicating things and cluttering things because we get into it. And it's like, oh, that's pretty good. I execute. First, you just want to execute it. It's like, oh, I did it. And it's like, I want to do better. So you try a couple of times, and then you start looking in, and there's more details, you start collecting a quiver of details to sort of obsess about and to make better. And then after a while, you get too far into that, and you just want to simplify it. I've gone through a number of things like that. I've homebrewed, and that seems to be something in homebrew where you start, maybe even start with a kit, and you do some brews, and then you start grain brewing, and then it gets pretty good, and then you start getting into adjuncts, and you start thinking, which are extra grains or extra just other things to add for flavoring. When you hear berries and things like that, all that kind of pumpkin spice latte, that kind of deal. It gets overcomplicated, or you come up with these weird, very detailed schedules about how to do things. Like, you got to boil it this way and that way, and add the hops here, and there's a thing called a mash, which is controlling the temperatures, and add this, that, and it gets in multi phases, and it gets overcomplicated. And then at the end, you're like, man, let's just make this simpler. And I find it with the flavor profiles too. It's like, the German purity law is basically malt, hops, water, well, and yeast. And that's really all you can have in there. You can't put in adjuncts, extra sugars, maltodextrin, rice, stuff like that. Uh, sugar, brown sugar, all kinds of stuff that gets put in. And they make a clean beer. And I have the same thing. Japanese beers are really my favorite beer. Oh, so hey, far be it from me to call somebody a weeb, but I find it to be clean and tight. And it's one of those where it's like color. Sometimes just coloring in the lines. Make me just a refreshing beer. Um, Clean, refreshing beer, which is the beverage I like with say sushi. Uh, and and we'll go from there. And I don't need to have all the extra stuff in there. Not knocking the extra stuff. In Boulder in the '90s was just hops everywhere. It was like a hot sauce deal, where it's like everybody was just trying to get the hottest. Everybody's just trying to get the hoppiest, but they forgot to make it delicious. Sometimes I think. Wow, I am all over the place today, aren't I? Which is funny because right now I'm not drinking beer. Again, just trying to get it's the health thing. Um, and this is maybe an excuse for me not to clean my room. Boy, it is a mess, my friends. It is a mess. But I'm not going to get down on myself. I think that's easy to do during the process is to get down on the condition and not just work the small moves. I think that's one thing about the simplification I'm dealing with or realizing right now is uh, I'm not worrying about the big picture so much and the ramifications. I've just got to do the little individual things to move forward. And I'm not even looking at the moving forward so much as it's like, just do, oh gosh, who was it? Was it the Zen Suzuki? Was it Suzuki that said, what was that? Something about, it's not about, strong feelings, basically that idea of passion. It's not about, uh, passion taking you to action. You, you just brush your teeth because it's what you do. The idea of just sort of not worrying so much about all the big picture. Sometimes you just do it, and I guess that comes back to that faith I talked about when all was lost at different times. When all I had on the bicycle was pedals go round and round. Just do it. Uh, but I have yacked at you guys for a little bit. Maybe I'll turn some of these into topics. I don't want to take up the greater portion of your day, which appears in Love is the Strangest Way by Andy Summers, his solo project. The album was XYZ. After the Police. He also did some stuff with Fripp, High Advanced Math, which is interesting if you're into kind of that progressive stuff. And then, of course, there's Chaos right there. So I am going to go wrestle with my chaos, and thank you for letting me babble a little bit at you. But I guess that's the point of these horrible rambles. So have a great day.